The information discussed on Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin Money. Talkin Money.
More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Yeah, how you doing? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Unfortunately.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me, Chris? Yeah?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Hey, I'm a TV star, Chris, according to you, so you better back off, Jack.
TV? You got a face for radio. How
Chris
did
said
TV work into
Well,
this?
when you and I went to that basketball game the other night, Chris said we were on TV like the whole time,
Nice.
during the break. And I said, no wonder they won.
Well, we sat, 6 feet away from the team?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
We got to see your guys' beautiful faces every time they went.
Yeah, I didn't know that, or I would have, I don't know what I would have done, but I would have paid more attention, I guess.
You would have tried to look good?
Yeah, that would have been hard to do. How are you doing? This is our last 1 hour show for a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to probably bear down and concentrate a little better. We're going to try to do 2 hours for a little while. I don't know how long that will last.
So listeners will have to start listening a little slower.
Yeah, or we could just talk a little. We're going to take the same content. We're going to move it into a 2 hour format.
Nice.
Because this has always been a 2 hour show. We just had to get it done in 45 minutes. So you got to listen faster.
Yeah.
So let's see. That should be fun for a little.
First hour is kind of foreplay. And
Yeah, and then
The rest
next
of
year
the show.
you smoke a cigarette the rest of the time. So, bragger. Mine's during the first break, and I'm over with. We've got all kinds of stuff. I mean, I literally have. I carry around this little backpack or bag.
call it a fanny pack.
It's a satchel. It's a German satchel. It's not a handbag, Richard.
Indiana Jones has one.
He does. This is just like Indiana Jones. Anyway, I just started realizing there's like a year's worth of stuff in here. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Why don't you all just come down to the studio and read this on your own? We'll just sit there and have a beer together, and we'll make this go.
It's like my kid's backpack. There's a sandwich I made, the first week of the school.
Gross. Hey, we the last 2 weeks, I have been neglect to start our show with the mind of Christopher Laud. And Chris, by the way, you're going to be getting a not a raise, but an increase in the amount of your. So when we go to 2 hours at the start of the second hour, there will be a phase 2 of the mind of Christopher Laud, which must be on international relations only. So you might want to start. And I don't mean that you
outside of Sacramento.
I don't mean you had relations with a girl from a different neighborhood. I mean you something outside of your scope. So be prepared. So anyway, let's let her rip, Chris.
This goes out to all my 49er fans, 49er fan friends.
All three of them. Go ahead.
All three of them. Everyone complaining about, the 49ers weren't covered as well as they should have been this year. Oh, there is so much good. Why isn't ESPN running more 49er games? Who cares? They were winning. You know what? My Red Sox this year were covered all the damn time. And guess what? They lost, and I hated every minute of it.
And you got to see every one of them on TV, didn't you?
I got to see every single stupid loss. So just be happy your team is winning, and who cares what the media has to say about you?
And you can find Christopher Laud at cbsradio.com if you want to get your comments to him.
I would hate to be the first caller that he takes the next call after that commentary. We'll fire it up in the studio.
We've got all of our devices are working today, 1-800-920-1140. You can call us locally at 339-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140, should you feel brave enough to jump in that pool. It's a very shallow pool, so don't worry, it'll be fine. Just jump in feet first so you don't knock yourself out. You were going to say something genius?
No.
Exactly. That's exactly why you're here, because you were not going to say a damn thing that was any meaningful. Hey, good news this week, and Nick and I were just joking about this a little bit before the show. Right off the headlines today, the jobs power a market rebound. Unemployment dips to 8.3%. And Nick asked me when I came in, don't you feel like when you're in an election year, every headline you read, you should read maybe with a little caution or a little bit of a little skepticism? And I always read that way anyway. But certainly we're in the silly season, so everything that's good that benefits the president is going to be bad for the Republicans. They're going to find a way to put it down, and vice versa. If it's bad for the president, they'll find a way to make it better. So I mean, expect that, and that's fine. I mean, we know what we're in for. I do believe that you have to understand what you're being told a little bit, and quite often the headline doesn't match with the story, right? So you have to be a little bit careful. So I think when you look at numbers like this, in the stock market, by the way, yesterday, the Dow, the highest point since May of 2008, and the NASDAQ, the highest point since the year 2000. So clearly, the market is looking for something good to hang on to. And if we add jobs, that's good. I mean, I don't care who takes the credit for it or who says they should have been better. I mean, if we added 243,000 jobs, that's good. I don't buy off on the unemployment rate is at 8.3%, because what that really means is that's 8.3% of the people that are still actively looking for a job can't find one, and a lot of people just quit looking. There's a lot of people that are underemployed, so I don't think we should in any way pat ourselves on the back and say, boy, we've solved the problem. But certainly, if we had 250,000 jobs or more, let's do it again. And if the president was responsible for that, cool, bring us 250,000 more. That'd be great. But I don't put a lot of hang on the percentage, because percentages can be whatever the person who's reporting them wants them to be.
Right.
And I heard yesterday on a couple stations, both what you would think would be a conservative station and maybe a liberal station or a Republican station or a Democrat station, whatever you want. There probably is about 16% of our population that would like to work full-time that is not. That doesn't mean they're unemployed. It just means that they either quit looking or they're not working as much as they'd like. That's still a big number.
Sure. And, one of the things, when you first hear that number of 8.3, if you look at it on a relative term, you say, okay, we're at 8.3. We were at 12. We were at 13. So it seems like a big drop. But one of the problems is you have to look at it on what they're measuring. Are they measuring today the same numbers they were measuring back when it was 14%, when everybody was looking for a job or whatever it was, 12, 13? So now that 8%, is it really representative of the same number that we looked at, say, 2 years ago?
And so here's this is cool. If this keeps going, this is great. I have two articles in my hand that talk about numbers, and they're government reported numbers. And I can't tell you who reports the numbers or what their affiliation is, and I don't even care. But this is the one that I hang on to this article because it's indicative of politicians, both sides of all politicians, the guy who's at your local, homeowner association and all the way up. Big article that kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. Housing slump was deeper than we thought. Okay, so whenever they produce an original report, they always come back and revise it some period of time later, and it's generally a couple months, and in this case, it's a couple years later. So this article goes on to say that as previously reported, sale of existing homes was higher than it really was. So during that period of time, they were reporting that more homes were selling than they were, and now they've come back and revised and said, oops, the trough was a little deeper than we thought. So, during the time of this event, this goes back to 08 and 09, we were being told things were a little better than they were, and now we're being told that, we've made a faster recovery than we really thought we did. So there's always a benefit to the reporting agency, right? So, if you're getting your butt kicked, I'm not getting my butt kicked as bad as I thought I was, and now that that it's over, you can say, I was really way, way down. We've come way back. So I always am very skeptical about reporting in general because I think it reports whoever's trying to benefit. But this kind of got, swept under the rug a little bit. Like maybe we were down further than we thought. And there's a lot of people, a lot of you that would probably agree with that. We probably were way down farther than we thought. But anyway, good news for the week, which if you follow mortgage rates and things is not so good for rates, because when everybody takes their money and moves it over to stocks in the NASDAQ and the Dow, it comes from somewhere else, and it comes from those safe havens called bonds. And so rates have to come up a little bit to counteract that, and that's what happened a little bit toward the end of the week. And I mean very little. I mean, we're still talking about phenomenal rates. Here's a illustrative description, if you'd like, out of the Wall Street Journal this morning. Refinancing, is it time to act? Big question mark. The question I get every single day of every month of every year, is this the bottom, Jeff? And the answer is, if I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here to answer the phone with you. So here's a look at the last, from 2009 to this month, 2012. Beginning of 2009, rates were right at about 5%, 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. They dipped real low at the end of 10. They hit down around the 4 1/8 range, jumped back up, and now we are at the lowest point in the last 2 years, which probably puts us at the lowest point in the last 60 years, at an average 30-year fixed rate of 3.87. Now, keep in mind, that's an average across the nation, and that usually assumes the person paid a point to get that. So if your rate is locked in at 4, you don't have to freak out because you didn't get 3.87, because it's across the nation and it has to do with different costs. So keep that in mind. But that's a good example of where rates are and where we're headed, if you want to know. So take that in consideration. Huh?
I got a quiz question here. I know we need to take a break.
We got one off the text line there real quick.
Go ahead.
Jeff, was that you and Nick at the game? I thought it was the banjo kid from Deliverance. Dong, ding, dong, dong, dong.
Yeah, and I was the one sitting next to him.
I think he's referring to you.
Wait a minute.
I was the banjo holder. You were the banjo kid.
Well, I knew we'd be on TV because we sat 2 seats in front of the sign lady. You know the sign lady right there with the big signs?
She has like a briefcase of signs. I'm like, I thought, this is a professional person.
They let her bring that in, but they wouldn't let me bring in that 12-pack. I don't get it.
Yeah, go ahead with your quiz question.
Here's a quiz question. Let's see here. According to the personal page of the Wall Street Journal, these 3 items, pretzels, tortilla chips, and chicken wings, account for a whole hell of a lot of eaten food.
On Sunday?
On Sunday's Super Bowl. So during the Super Bowl, which one of those 3 products, pretzels, tortillas, or chicken wings, will be eaten in the highest weight category? Meaning,
which of the highest fat guys can eat the most of those?
That's
or
right. Which one of these is going to be eaten the most of?
Okay.
How's that?
All right.
Chicken wings, tortilla chips, or pretzels?
Very good.
That's a quiz question.
Hey, I want to just give another shout out and a thank you to our new sponsor, which is the Hellwig Winery up in Plymouth, California. I might be heading up there today, this little bike ride, little motorcycle ride up to check it out. So you've got to check out the brand new. This facility is phenomenal. I mean, if you don't have to be a wine drinker, because I'm not a huge wine drinker, but to go up there, it's up in the Shenandoah Valley, sits up on the ridge and overlooks the whole valley. They got a tasting room that's open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 4. The wine caves, which you can rent these if you want. They're super cool. They keep all their wine stored, at the right temperature.
Nice.
They've got it set up down there so you can actually hold an event down there, which is pretty cool. The big amphitheater in the summer, they have some Friday afternoon concerts and all kinds of things going on. Friday evenings. So next Friday, you can follow up with the Hellwig at Dusk, which is music and entertainment, includes some wine. It's $5. So great facility. Check them out. HellwigWinery.com. That's HELWIG winery.com. We're going to take a quick break. If you know the answer to Nick's quiz question, give us a call. This is Talkin Money. My name is the boy from Deliverance. We'll be right back.